Hello, everyone. This is Amy and Courtney from the Helms Academy, and today we'll be going over some essential education tips and tricks. First, let's look at some of our video controls. On this slide, you can see the pause, play, and rewind buttons. The pause button on the left is the two lines next to each other with the red circle around it on the screen. And the rewind button is over with the circle arrow on the other side of the screen, which also has a circle around it. You can use the pause button to stop the video at any time and then click it again to play the video again. You can click the rewind button to go back to the beginning of the video at any time. You can also click along the bar in between those two buttons to move the video to different points. On this slide, you'll see the closed captioning button, which is circled in red. If you click it, you'll see that this black box on the screen pops up with the words that Leonard, the speaker, is saying, and you'll be able to read along with each of his phrases. Circled on the left side of the screen is the volume. If you click on this volume signal, it'll bring up this bar, and you can move the little horizontal bar up and down to decide how loud you want the video to be. Last on our video controls is the transcript. Up in the upper right, you will see a box that says transcript, and if you click on it, this pops down. You can see all of the words that are said in all of this video. This is a short video, so it's a short amount of information, but for longer videos, you will see more extended text.
Here are some features that you can use in essential education. First, let's take a look at some important tabs. This first tab is your learning plan. This is what you will see when you log into Essential Education. As you can see, this lesson here in the orange button is where you can begin your lesson. It usually takes about 25 minutes. The second tab here that you can see is called Assignments. If you are given any special assignments by your coordinator, this is where you will find those assignments. As you can see, this student has one assignment to complete. The third tab here is Review. If Essential Education suggests any lessons for you to review, they will be here in this Review tab. As you can see, this student has 5 lessons to review. It's important that you make sure you review any lessons that Essential Education suggests for you to review. This will help you score the highest on your GED or HiSET tests. Next, let's take a look at the Mastery bar. As you can see, this student has completed all the lessons in the pre-GED section, the GED prep section, and the advanced GED section. They currently have 2 lessons to complete. As you can see, for quadratic equations, they only scored 70%. This lesson is slated to need study. You can tell this because the bar is still orange. They decided to move on to data displays and distributions. As you can see, they scored 86% on this lesson, and they have now passed it. Any lesson that is orange or needs study can be found in your Review tab. It's important to make sure that all of your lessons are blue or in the passing range before you move on to your next lesson. Here are 2 ways that you can measure your study time in Essential Education. First, take a look at this estimated study time to pass. This bar will show you how many hours are remaining for you to pass this specific subject. This is an estimate, so depending on how you perform on future practice tests, you may actually need less hours slated to pass. Take a look and see how this yellow bar will go down to indicate how many hours are left for you to pass a subject. You can also look at your study time. Here you can see how much you have studied for the week. Currently, Helms Academy students should devote at least 6 to 8 hours per week towards their study time. This graph here will let you know how much time you have already studied for the week. If you see that it is Wednesday or Thursday and you've only studied for 2 hours per week, it's important to note that so you can make sure you add a little extra time over the weekend to hit your study goal. One of the best features of essential education is how much access you have to practice tests, either for the GED or the high set. If you take a look here, this student took a practice test in math and scored a 144. For anyone taking the GED, a 144 is very close to passing, as you need a 145 to pass the section. This student is very, very close to being ready to take the math section of the GED. If you see here, this link that says practice test details will take you to the second picture. As you can see, this person took math GED practice test 2. This was their first attempt and they scored 144 out of 200. If this person were to click details over here and you can see in the right hand corner of the screen, it will open up to a detailed report of Math GED Practice Test 2. They will be able to see which questions they answered, which they got correct, which ones they got incorrect, how to answer each question correctly, and the lesson that corresponds to the questions they got incorrect. If you are looking to do a deep dive in your practice tests and understand more about how to score better, this is where you can find your practice test details. Are you interested in sending your coordinator or another student a message through Essential Education? Here's how you can do so. As you see in the upper right-hand corner of your screen next to your profile button is the Messages button. This student currently has 0 messages, but if they were to click this button, it would open up to a message docket as you can see here. There's a place to compose a message, your inbox, your drafts, your sent, and any messages you have put in the trash. You can see here if you click on the subject, this is how you will be able to see any messages from your coordinator or other students. Make sure you take a look here to see if your coordinator has sent you any messages.
Next, we want to talk about testing out of a lesson. On this screen, you can see an option circled down at the bottom beneath your Start Lesson. This is under the Science portion for the high set, and it says Test Out of Science Basics. Now, if you are on a lesson and you read the description about that lesson and believe it's something you already know pretty well, you might try to test out. By testing out, you'll skip over the lesson. Now, if your testing out does not go as well as you had planned, that's okay. You can always go back and still take the lesson in its entirety. You also have the option to start the lesson, get an idea for what it's about, and then go back to test out later. If you choose to test out, here's an example of what the types of questions may look like for that lesson. This is a science question, so it's going to be related to the things they would have covered in the lesson. If you can answer enough questions correctly, it will excuse you from this lesson and you can move on to the next step. Next, we'd like to look at some computer essentials. Down at the bottom of this page, beneath where the test out option is a button that says Need Computer Skills? Study Computer Essentials. If you click on that blue text, it will take you to a new page. On this page, you will find all sorts of lessons and checkups on different computer skills that are very valuable, not only for your essential education, but also for life skills and workplace skills. These are basic lessons that will get you through some of the most important things you can know about how to use a computer effectively. And it's all included as part of your Essential Education account, and you can access these for free at any time.
Let's talk about some common problems you may encounter in essential education. First, take a look. These are the browsers that are best to use for essential education. You should pick either Firefox or Chrome. While essential education is available on any internet-enabled device, these are the two browsers that are best to use to access this program. To log into Essential Education, make sure you use your username or email address. If you forget your password, reach out to your coordinator. Make sure that you use the specific link that your coordinator has given you to access Essential Education. Don't try to Google it because you will not find the correct link. After you use your email and password, when you're done studying, you can log out in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Click the profile and press log out. Turning your device on and off and signing in and out may also be a way that you can troubleshoot any issues that you may have if you run into problems with essential education. These are the first steps that you can do to try to reset your program experience for the day. The next thing you could do would be to clear your cookies and your cache. First, make sure, are you using Mozilla Firefox or Chrome? Remember, these are the best browsers to use for essential education. If you have already turned your device on and off, and you have signed in and out and tried again for essential education and still not working, try to clear your cookies and your cache. If you can see on the left side here, if you are under Firefox, you can go under History and a box will pop up. Here you can click Network. Under Network, you can click this button that says Clear Now. This will clear your cache. If you're looking on the right side and you're using Chrome, in the right upper hand corner of the screen, you can look at History. There's a button here where you can clear your browsing data. If you would like more step-by-step instructions for how to clear your cookies or your cache, feel free to check out the website refreshyourcache.com. This website will give you step-by-step instructions for the device and browser that you are using. Do you need any extra help with essential education? Call this number here to directly speak with a representative from Essential Education. They can walk you through step by step on how to solve your problems. Can't use the phone at the moment? Send them an email. I've personally used this to send them an email and ask a question, and they were able to get back to me within the same day. They're very attentive and willing to help you out with any issues that you may have with essential education. You can also take a look at this help desk website that they have that provides step-by-step picture instructions to help you with your essential education account. And of course, as you always know, feel free to call or send an email to your coordinator who's also willing and ready to help you out with your essential education account. Thank you so much for joining us for this presentation. Do you have any other tips and tricks for essential education that were not covered in this video? Please leave us a comment down below. Thank you so much. Take care.